Hello, everyone. My name is Mario Abreu. I'm a loan officer at Impact Loan Fund, and this video is to help you on how to fill out the pro forma when it comes to the real estate investment deals around Jumpstart Kensington and the program that we have to help rehabilitate properties in Kensington. This is the first document that we request any potential borrower to fill out. And so I'm making this video to facilitate the process so that you understand how it's done, because a lot of people just don't know. So um, once you're sent the pro forma document, um, the first thing that you have to do is update the address. We usually ask that you put the address of the property that you're looking at in Kensington, um, and so that way we have an idea. Then you're gonna notice that there's a lot of different numbers and tabs. The primary thing and most importantly is you only have to fill out for the information that you have the areas where there's a highlight. So, for example, this number here, um, where it says 65,000 in this case, this is where you would put the actual purchase price that you would look to offer the seller of the property you're looking to buy. So my recommendation is always, you know, make sure that when you're looking at a property, that a lot of times there's an asking price that's listed on there, on the MLS or Zillow, but you gotta make sure that in your case that you are not necessarily offering what they're asking for, but that you have a starting point. So let's assume a property is listed on Zillow that is in Kensington in our market for, I'm gonna call it $100,000, right? One of the things that you could do is you can start with kind of like starting point price. Um, let's say I'm gonna say 80,000, right? So automatically you will see that these other numbers get updated. You don't have to do anything. This will be done for you by the all the different calculations that exist here. So you don't really have to mess with any of this. So then after you have your purchase price, you're gonna come here and fill out the information about the soft costs associated to the property and that particular transaction, just to have an idea of what are the costs associated to pay the taxes, keep pay utilities, pay insurance for a year, and any like architecture engineer type of help, and any legal zoning or permits changes that you might want to do on a property while you are renovating it. So a lot of this information, you can ask your contacts, your realtor, if you're working with a realtor. They can help you find that information. The next thing is you also need to have an idea of how much money you will need to put in to renovate the property. So in this case, one of the things that you can do is work with a contractor if you have a contact, and maybe schedule a visit to the property and have them go with you so that they can help you get a quote of how much it's gonna cost to do any of these things listed here, or anything else really. You can always delete and add something else, if you don't need to change the HVAC but you need to do something else. Most of the stuff that you need to do on a property is already listed here, but in the event that it's not, you can just delete and replace. So the next thing is, again, figuring out how much it's gonna cost to renovate the property. One of the things that a lot of people forget is that this number here of how much it's gonna cost to renovate a property can, along with the purchase price, and so like all the numbers will have an effect whether a deal can work out or not. Um, and I think that like people get overwhelmed by looking at this and say, oh, like this is a lot, but the reality is it's not really that much. If you think about it from a financial perspective, this actually helps you avoid making really big mistakes. It could help you avoid making big mistakes, although Anything can happen. Everybody makes mistakes in a deal, but it really helps you analyze a deal in a financial capacity. The other important aspect, after you figure out all the costs associated here, is in this case here you just change the number in this tab here, the 63,000 for this number. So whatever is in this tab here, you just put here, and then everything will automatically update. So assuming all of this is filled out, I'm gonna just show you the example. One of the things that happens sometimes when you put the same number is that this gets kind of like updated. Um, and that's just for you to have an idea of um, like how much it would cost, assuming all of the costs are placed here. So once you put the number here prior to this one here, then you know you'll be fine. Sometimes people get confused about that, but it's it's nothing to get confused about. So, anyways, going back here, so one of the things that you also have to think about as well is the estimated after repair value of the property. The best way for me, at least, to find that information is by one, you can work with a realtor, as ideally a realtor that has experience with investment properties or with other investors, because the way that you can find like an estimate of that, and this is not an exact science, but it can help you get an idea, is you can find properties in the area that are comparable properties. So there's a tab down here that says comps. So in the comps area, you can go and look up properties that have recently been renovated and sold in the last 6 months, and that kind of can give you a range of what the after repair value may be. Um, Again, this is not an exact science, but if you find 3 4 properties that have been renovated and sold in the last 6 months that are comparable to your property, so in terms of like square footage, in terms of amount of bathrooms and bedrooms, that sorry, that will give you a gauge of like what the kind of like median price is. So for example, for this one the average is 175. So you can file in the average of all of these properties that you find and list here. If you have used Excel before, you will know where to find the average. But if not, all you have to do is look down at the bottom of the Excel program, and you will see there's small words, small letters, and it says one of them average, and you can see that the average in this case for this is 175. This is just an example of a property that we were looking at, but point being is that like you have to figure out what properties have sold in the last 3 months or 6 months. Ideally 6 months is a good timeline. 3 months is great because it's more recent data, but 6 months is good, to figure out what the after repair value of a property is, or could be. Now you have to remember that again, this is not a science, and you have to see what kind of finishes a property has in terms of properties that have been renovated and sold recently that are comparable to yours. Because you kind of look at a photo and say, oh, they put this amount of money. Maybe a contractor might have a really good educated guest, but at the end of the day, this kind of like gives you at least a point of reference. Then there's also rent comps. If you're looking to buy and hold the property, you definitely have to find rental comparables so that you know how much other properties have been rented for that are comparable to your property.